Enchanted Tiki Talk is brought to you by Kingdom Strollers. Our premium stroller and crib rentals are delivered straight to your Disney or Orlando area resort. It couldn't be easier. Book yours at kingdomstrollers.com. And Mouse Pros. Let our travel specialist plan your next vacation. Our concierge level service gives you the perfect hassle-free vacation. Get your free quote from Sean or any of our magical agents at mousepros.com. And Mickey Monthly, the Disney fans' monthly subscription box that brings the magic right to your door. Visit them at mickeymonthly.com. And buy Woody Sunglasses. Don't let glare ruin your magical view. These premium wood frame polarized sunglasses will let you tour the parks in style. Visit them at woodies.com. And now, it's show time!
Vahidi me kyonimana, ladies and gentlemen. No flashbulbs, please. Our performers are temperamental and easily upset. Thank you for your cooperation.
Oh, look at all the people.
My goodness, you're all staring at us. We better start the show rolling.
Wait. We forgot to wake up the Glee Club.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to Enchanted Tiki Talk. We are your hosts. I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
I'm Matt.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Alan.
So grab yourself a Dole Whip or a citrus roll, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
This is episode 216 for the week of December 10th, 2017.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Enchanted Tiki Talk. We are back once again with half a staff. So in order to make the show a little bit more exciting, we brought on an very old friend of the show. I mean, very old friend. And somebody who has not appeared. Old. Yes, real old. Probably has nobody hasn't appeared in, I guess, 3 years now. I think you were either our first or second guest of the show. And that's Safari Mike. Welcome, Safari Mike.
Jumbo, guys, how are you?
Good. What's going on?
Not much. Kate just came back like you guys from Florida, so getting used to the cold weather.
Yeah, I know. That's a hard thing to do, isn't it?
It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, see, you know it's bad when they're talking about snow in North Carolina, so it's got to be bad up your way.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's not good. I would do anything to be back in Florida walking around in the sun in shorts and a t-shirt again.
Exactly right.
All right, Mike. So it's great to have you on the show again. I know one of the things that we have talked about over the years is that you have never gotten to do is the Tiki Lightning Round. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
when you're one of the only people, I think one of like two people that have never done the Tiki Lightning Round. So we'll get to that at the end of the show.
Oh, excellent.
But before we get into that,
I've had years to prepare, so it better be good.
Yeah. I hope you can do this. But before we get into our show topic this week, why don't you tell everybody out there in Tiki Land a little bit about yourself, reintroduce yourself to everybody who might not know who you are.
Sure, because last time I was on your show, I think it was episode 3 or 4.
Yeah,
something
like
very early on. Anyway, we have a podcast called Radio Harambe. We have a blog called jumboeveryone.com. Where all things Animal Kingdom and Animal Kingdom Lodge, although on the podcast we bend that rule every once in a while with news and tidbits from outside of Animal Kingdom. But generally speaking, that's what we cover, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, you're generally known as, I don't want to say Disney hater, but you just love, your brother, I guess more your brother, but you do love the parks outside of Animal Kingdom. So, like, with your podcast, mostly focusing on Animal Kingdom, and you've been around just a little bit longer than we have, how do you keep your show fresh with Animal Kingdom ideas for the most part?
Well, I mean, I think we lucked out in a certain way, because shortly after we started doing the blog, and right before we started doing the podcast, they announced this Avatar thing. So we kind of grown along with that. Like I said, we sort of lucked out. So there's always something new. And I think Animal Kingdom lends itself more to news than many of the other parks. Just having animals and switching them out, babies, all that kind of stuff, new entertainment, that kind of thing. There seems to be a little bit more change there than there does at some of the other parks, especially things like Magic Kingdom. That there's generally not as much change as there is in Animal Kingdom. Although right now, I guess the biggest changes are coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios, but So I think it stays fresh in that way.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. When you first started, there were a lot of naysayers out there that there's no way you would be able to keep a podcast going just focusing on Animal Kingdom, and you have. But I also remember when you had first started, I don't know who the person was. There was somebody out there that said they wanted to start one focusing on Hollywood studios, and I don't remember who that was. But you and I were joking with him that there's no way that show would work. I don't think he ever put the podcast out, but
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it ever happened. But yeah, I can definitely see how Animal Kingdom definitely has enough to justify its own podcast. You can also, on some level, say that Epcot would be able to do the same thing because of all the the different countries, all the food festivals that have going on. So Epcot can probably do it itself as well. So it's interesting. So if you have never listened to Radio Harambe's podcast about Animal Kingdom, be sure to check it out.
No, thank you very much, and I hope you do.
Yeah. With that, we will take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. Here are your 25 questions to answer before time is up. Don't fall out of that noble perch. It's Perch Talk.
Hey guys, this is Scott, and I'm at the Geyser Point at Wilderness Lodge, and I've got Rogers and Jamie, two of our listeners here. And we're going to do a Perch Talk, and Perch Talk is brought to you by Trader Sam's Coffee Company. So 25 questions, 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Whenever you're ready, you can go.
All right, here we go.
All right. Favorite Disney World theme park?
Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
Favorite land in Magic Kingdom?
Tomorrowland.
Main Street, USA.
Favorite souvenir?
Olszewski Main Street Miniatures.
Wow.
Probably a mammoth pecan patty.
Favorite quick service?
Oh.
Sunshine Seasons.
Yes, not too.
Favorite table service?
Yachtsman.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. Favorite on-site hotel?
Beach Club.
Beach Club.
Favorite show?
Carousel Progress.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Wouldn't have thought of that. Favorite parade?
Booty.
Halloween. The booties.
Since you saw it last night. Favorite fireworks?
Happily Ever After.
I'm going to have to go with Fantasmic.
Wow. Favorite Epcot pavilion?
Canada.
Really? Interesting. Favorite time of year to attend Disney World?
Fall, October.
I like summer, just the original.
Monorail or ferry boat?
Monorail.
Because all the ferry boats are riding around out here. Favorite thrill ride?
Space.
Tower of Terror.
Dole Whip or Citrus Swirl?
Citrus.
Dole Whip.
Favorite Main Street shop?
Emporium.
The confectionery.
Favorite princess?
Belle.
Favorite prince?
Eric.
Yeah.
Favorite Disney song?
Be a Man. The Mulan song.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Favorite non-Disney movie but still Disney branded?
Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite favorite sweet treat?
The Mammoth Pecan Patty.
Yeah, chocolate covered strawberry.
Favorite street performer or band?
Street performer
I
band.
like the magic show people at Hollywood Studios.
Oh yeah, the street performers, the magic tricks, yeah.
Least favorite attraction?
Figment.
Small World.
Wow, favorite Disney bar lounge? That's mean.
Probably Cruise Cup.
Yeah.
2 questions, we'll finish it off. Favorite pool on property?
Beach Club.
Yeah.
And how do you two World Showcase? Mexico, Canada.
Mexico.
You guys go the wrong way. Nicely done. Well, thank you both.
All right, we are back from break. As you can tell from the opening of the show, we have Matt along with me to endure Mike this episode. So, Matt, thank you for sticking around.
What a ringing endorsement from my contributions here.
I think it was funny when we were all down there in November. I think I actually ran into Mike more than I actually saw you, Sean. So I mean,
probably
it's kind of fitting that he's on the show with us.
Yeah, I didn't even see Mike. I could smell.
Yeah,
him.
no, I never bumped into you. Yeah.
No, because you were with Christina, and I was trying to get together with her, and we were running out of time. I was meeting a friend of mine who had flown in from England at Disney Springs, so we left Animal Kingdom early, so I wasn't able to meet up with you guys, which was a bummer, but that would have been fun.
It would, and I did bump into. We bumped into Matt at Disney Springs and before one of the races, and
yeah, it was just weird, random.
Animal Kingdom.
We were leaving Animal Kingdom. They were getting on a bus, and I was literally chasing my kids down one of the
I remember that.
the coverings for the bus. I hear somebody call my name, and I'm stopped. I'm like, "Who's calling my name?" And he's standing there with Christina, and I was talking to them for a little bit, and then before the fiasco trying to catch the Magical Express back to our resort for the to go catch our flight, I ran into him at Disney Springs, and then right before the half marathon. So yeah, he was all over the place. It was like I was following him around or something.
Actually, I was following you, Matt. Not to be too creepy.
You should have picked a more exciting person to follow around.
All right, so with this week's show, with Mike being on here as the general Animal Kingdom expert and best friends to Joe Rohde, there is a rumor going around that the story goes that Joe Rohde was coming into the country at Customs and Immigration, and somebody had asked him about the Yeti, if the immigration officer asked him if the Yeti was ever going to be fixed. The rumor going around is that Mike actually was that immigration officer that asked the question. Is there truth to that, Mike?
There is no truth to that. Unfortunately, I deny that in its entirety.
Yeah, and the funny thing about Joe Rohde is that he's well aware of who Mike is, and Mike, you have met Joe Rohde in the past
several times. Yeah.
I know. Why don't you just for our listeners out there, why don't you tell them about the time you met Joe? And I think that's when he said he knew who you were, right?
Oh, yeah. I was
in Washington, I think.
Yeah, it was Washington, D.C. They were doing an environmental film festival. So I went down there. They were showing his movie, the Snow Leopard movie that he did a couple of years ago, if you guys remember that.
Yes.
And so I went there for a screening of it. I was there as well as some other, Disney Twitter people were there. And he did a little sort of meet and greet. I guess it was after the movie, my memory serves. And I said to him, I took a picture or whatever. I said, I'm not sure you know who I am. And he said, of course I know who you are. You're Safari Mike. And, the other Disney Twitter people in the crowd got a real kick out of that. As did I, by the way.
Right, yeah. Which is pretty funny. It's like, oh my gosh, Joe already knows who I am,
Yeah, and I randomly bumped into him at the hotel at the Animal Kingdom Lodge once, and we've DM'd a few times. So, although I won't claim to be his best friend, I mean, we've had a couple of brief conversations.
All right, so let's just jump into Animal Kingdom here, and let's talk about the newest, grandest, best thing to happen to Animal Kingdom since it first opened, and that is Avatar Land.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I thought you were talking about Nomad Lounge, but that's okay.
So with Avatar Land, and you have followed it pretty closely from the beginning. Overall, do you think that it met your expectations, or did it exceed your expectations?
I will say it has been around since, obviously we've been waiting for this for the longest time. I think the second episode of Radio Harambe was an hour of my brother and I debating whether or not this was a good idea. Dave being more pro-Avatar than I was. I was definitely on the anti-Avatar bandwagon and remain firmly entrenched in that bandwagon. When I saw the preview stuff, I'm not one of these people who don't want to be spoiled. I watched, all the videos that they had. I even saw, for a brief time on opening day, they had a ride through of the Navi River journey. And I didn't really like what I saw, although I did not see Flight of Passage. Obviously, that was never really spoiled for anybody beforehand. Having seen it in person, when I first saw it in person a few months ago, I will tell you that I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was beautiful. I loved Flight of Passage. I think it's a top 5 Disney ride. I even loved Navi River Journey a lot more in person than I did when I saw it on a video. I really like that attraction. It's pretty. It's just very soothing and nice, pleasant. I wouldn't wait. There are waits for like an hour for it now. Obviously I wouldn't do that. But there are a few rides on Earth that I would wait more than 45 minutes for nowadays. I guess I've gotten spoiled in going to Disney so many times that I just, what's the point now? But anyway, I think it's fantastic. I think it's beautiful. I think it changes at night. It becomes a completely different kind of landscape. I love the background noises that you hear. I love the food. There's very little that I was disappointed with. The only thing I could think of as we're talking is that kind of walk-up bar that they have is really kind of lame. But other than that,
lame, yeah, you could say that. They could have done a lot more with that on so many different levels. They could have themed it more to the one of like how it looks inside the hangar or something like that, or more towards Navi or anything. It's just a boring old bar. There's very little theming to it.
Yeah, it's not even a good bar. I mean, it's not even. It's just two. There are 2 or 3 pre-mixed frozen drinks as well as 2 beers on tap. The beers are fine. You can't find them elsewhere, so that's fine. The pre-mixed, frozen drinks I could do without, and that's it. That's all they got. And those pineapple, wonton things. I would have much preferred like an actual bar or a lounge or something.
Like, why didn't they put it up higher where you can oversee Avatar, the whole land there? Right in the front when you walk in, overseeing everything and seeing it come to life at nighttime, watching the waterfalls come down. I mean, that would have been that probably would have been the best bar on property if they would have done that.
Well, it's going to be hard to beat Nomad Lounge, but it would have certainly been a very nice addition. So, I mean, other than the bar, I hate to harp on terribleness. The one thing I did not like. I think overall it was fantastic, though. I was very impressed and I was very happy. And I, like I said, I went in expecting to be a little disappointed, and I was not. So,
how would you, to somebody who is not who doesn't know what Avatar is, has never seen the films, doesn't really even know what Disney is, quickly try to sell somebody on Avatar in 50 words or less?
Well, if it's somebody who doesn't know what Disney is, I'm not sure what they're doing listening to your show. That's number one.
Yeah, it's a generalization, but
to sell Avatar in 50 words or less, and I would Avatar Land in 50 words or less. I would say it's beautiful landscape, amazing color at night. I would say the Navi River journey is like a watercolor painting come to life. And Flight of Passage is exciting is probably not the right word. I would say Flight of Passage is a fun attraction that is unlike just about anything else you'll ride.
I don't want to say shocked. I guess I was kind of taken aback after, you hear everybody talking about how small it is and everything. Until I actually got there, it's like they literally crammed it in the corner of the park. Do you know, is there any room for them to do any type of expansion, since James Cameron's talking about another, 25 films or something like that he's going to put out? Or
Well, and they might actually become Disney movies now, as opposed to what they were a month ago. I guess you could expand sort of northward. So when you're at for people who are familiar with the geography of Avatar Land, when you're at the Satuli Canteen, you can sort of make a left and go on that path that leads you to Harambe. There's like a long walking path along the Discovery River that leads you to the Festival of the Lion King movie theater. There is some space in there that they could add to, some small stuff. I don't think they could really build out like another massive attraction like Flight of Passage, but they could add a little bit to it for sure.
Maybe a spinner.
I am always down for a spinner. I don't see why you wouldn't ride a Banshee. I think kids would love that. Not to get derailed, but I think that Star Wars Land desperately needs a TIE Fighter spinner ride. I don't care what anybody says.
How did that not happen?
I mean, and the kids can press the button and they make that Star Wars laser gun noises. I mean, come on.
I think that would have been like the one
kids,
spinner
I'd be all
ride
over
that would have worked. Everybody would that would have been a long line. If you could have sat there and you would have heard somebody going, "Stay on target, stay on target," and
that'd be so fantastic.
Yeah,
and the center of it could be a Death Star.
Right.
Mean, come on.
Yeah, they dropped the ball there.
That's probably why they didn't do it, because all the adults would be riding it.
Yeah, true.
I derailed the conversation. I apologize. Go ahead. Go back to Avatar Land.
Now, with
this is sort of what my show is like, derailing conversations all the time. Look, we just recorded an episode about the Flights of Wonder perhaps closing down. And in the middle of it, Dave and I have a 15-minute conversation about Coco and the Frozen short. So I don't know how that happened.
Oh, jeez. Sidetracked. You can get sidetracked pretty easily.
Yeah.
So with some of the things that with Animal Kingdom, taking a step in a different direction is things that the average parkgoer that might not be aware of, the things to do, which could be which would be considered an add-on, would be the safari. What is it? Just lost my train of thought. Where you get to go behind the scenes with the safari, the ropes, zip line.
Oh, the Wild Africa Trek.
Wild Africa Trek. With the Wild Africa, you've done the Wild Africa Trek, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, is that something you think, as somebody who's never been to Animal Kingdom before, who maybe has been to Disney, do you think that is a must-do for somebody who's never been?
To somebody who's never been to the Animal Kingdom, I would say probably not. I mean, there's so many other things that you're going to want to do that's going to derail. Speaking of derail, that's going to take out your entire morning or afternoon. That's like a 4-hour deal. So, and that's a lot of your day. When, at least at this point in time, you're going to want to go to Flights of Passage and Expedition Everest and see the stage shows and all this kind of stuff. So I would not say that is something that a first timer should do. Is it somebody who has been to Animal Kingdom a couple of times should do? Absolutely, as long as you have the cash, because it is not cheap. It's I think $1.90 per person at this point.
Right.
So if you have a family of 4, you're talking $800 to do this. That's
Do you think this lends itself for a group experience as opposed to maybe an individual or a family, as like a group of friends? You think that would be something a little bit more exciting?
Wild Africa Trek. There's a lot of crossing those bridges and sort of being on your own a little bit, but yeah, I mean, you could have a lot of fun because you actually spend you have a meal, whether that's breakfast or lunch or dinner, out on that boma that sits in the middle of the big safari, so you're out there for quite a bit of time. You're in a flatbed truck for a little while, getting a lengthy tour of the other portions of the safari itself. So, you're in a group. When I did it, there was, I think it's about 16 people maybe. So I was with some family members. I think there were 6 of us at the time. So there's like another 10 or so people, or maybe it was even 24 people, something like that. So there's, if you have a big group, I think you can have a lot of fun with that, absolutely. And usually the cast members, there are 2 that follow you around, are usually very good and very kind of affable and, constantly kidding around with each other and stuff. So, they are always good cast members on the Wild Africa Trek. They're very engaging. So I would say that would be a good group experience for sure.
Did you feel that they were more knowledgeable than the safari drivers?
Well, the safari drivers, first of all, I've only done it once,
okay.
The Wild Africa Trek, and they were pretty knowledgeable. But, they don't spend too much time talking about the animals. What happens is you have other people talking about them as well. Like, so when you get to the hippos and the crocodiles, there is another person that comes and greets you. It's, some other, trainer / keeper that will come out and talk to you. And with the hippos, they'll throw lettuce to the hippo and it'll come over and she or he will talk to you about the hippo. So the person coming along with you, while they're certainly knowledgeable, are not necessarily going to give you all the information, or and do all the tour themselves. There are other people scattered throughout, not unlike the Caring for Giants tour that they recently added.
Right.
Which I also did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Was this your past trip?
Yeah. We did it just this, a couple of weeks ago. Unlike Wild Africa Trek, this one is only $30. Although it's you can get an AP or a DVC discount to make it down to about $25. I think so ours was $50. But again, it's only about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, so it's a lot shorter too. But it's a lot of fun. I think It's great.
So that might be something for somebody who wants to step outside your normal realm of the parks to experience then.
Yeah, and it's so what they do with that is, first of all, you can just show up and sign up for it, and they hardly ever, as far as I know, they don't sell out. So you can pretty much get there in the morning. There's a little booth right across from the Kilimanjaro Safaris and say, hey, I want to do Caring for Giants, and there's usually a slew of tours that are available. Okay. When we did it, we showed up at like 10 o'clock, and they said, you want to do the 10:30, and we wound up doing 11 because we hopped on the safari. And they take you behind the scenes. You get to see sort of backstage. You get to see where they grow all the browse for all the animals. So there's like a big field with all sorts of stuff that they're doing. You get to see where they built the topiaries for the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. You drive past that area. You drive past some of the housing for mandrills and the giraffe barn and all that kind of stuff. And then you get to the elephants. And you get, once you're there, you get like I'd say about 20 to 25 minutes of a couple of different people coming along, talking to you about how they care for the elephants and what they do in Africa for conservation. And you get a nice view of the elephants. You're up close to them in the back.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
It's nice. It's nice, and it's not expensive at all, so it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely reasonably priced. That's something that, throwing down $190, granted you're going to get lunch and 4 hours of activities, $30 for this is something kind of unique, and it's something that you're not normally going to get, whether you go to your local zoo or not, wherever you are. So it would be a fun thing to do, especially with a family.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time I'm there with my kids, I'm going to drag them out there.
Nice.
Now, the Wild Africa Trek, isn't there height regulations on that?
There are also age regulations. You can't bring young kids. I don't remember what the height is or the age is at this point. I know I brought my daughter, who's now 13, so this was at least 3 years ago. So she was at the oldest 10 when she did it. I want to say she was close to the cutoff. I don't have it memorized as to what the age limit is, but there is a height limit because you're going to walk these bridges and you're strapped in and all that kind of stuff. So there is, if you do have very young kids, you're not going to be able to do it.
Okay, I was just curious.
Since we're kind of talking about unique things to do in Animal Kingdom. And most of us people who are going to listen to the podcast are going to know that they're going to go on, they're going to go on Dinosaur, they're going to go on the Safari, they're going to go on, this and that and see Bug's Life there. Why don't we talk about some of the things that maybe people who have been there multiple times, but they have never taken the time out to step away from the attractions and explore. I guess maybe stop and smell the roses a little bit in Animal Kingdom. What do you think would be the two things that you would recommend the most for people to do to step away and really experience what the Animal Kingdom is like?
Well, apparently now one of the things you could do is try to climb the Tree of Life. I don't know if you guys...
Yeah, that's new. Yeah, there's no fast passes available yet for that,
though. No, not yet. Hopefully there'll be a guided tour shortly. But anyway, in terms of stopping to smell the roses. So some of the things that, first of all, the animal trails themselves are, for me, some of my favorite things to do there. I love the Maharaja Jungle Trek. I love the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. I'll go through both of them. Just about every time I go through the park, I'll hit at least one of them every time I'm in that park. But even places like the Oasis, spending an extra, few minutes in there. Most people just buzz right through it when they're heading into the park and, buzzing right through on the way out. But some of the entertainment, too, is really great. The Barutica Band, I know Keith is a big fan of Barutica. and I am right there with him. There's nothing better than grabbing a drink at the Dawa bar and watching a set of Brewdica. But even some of the other entertainment over there, the Caribou Sisters, some of the stuff they've added recently, like the Caribou Sisters, are a lot of fun. People tend not to go out to Rafiki's Planet Watch. I mean, especially if you have small kids, that's a nice hour or so, get on the train and head out to Rafiki's Planet Watch. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do that a lot of people just kind of ignore.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Well, number one is my kids are not really fans of zoos or animals per se. And it's hard enough to get them sometimes to go on attraction. More Kelsey than Connor, but I just wish they would enjoy it a little bit more, because I would like to spend a little bit more time. Not necessarily Rafiki's Planet Watch, because I was not a fan of that, but to spend time looking at the gorillas and things like that. I enjoy that. I could just sit there and watch them for hours. So,
right.
If you have, don't take it from me, but just spend some time, because I do as I say, don't, and all that stuff. But I think you should spend time in trying to see what else is out there. Some of the trails that are in Animal Kingdom that you're not necessarily going to find just staying on the main paths. That's what makes Animal Kingdom fun.
Yeah, I mean, there is even paths that like almost nobody really knows about, like the one that goes behind the Tree of Life, where you see the crested porcupine and the Galapagos tortoises, excuse me. Or the one in front of the Tree of Life, where you can get right up close and even go behind the little waterfall that comes out by the Tree of Life, and you get a close-up view of the kangaroos that are like up close to the Tree of Life. A lot of people, don't even realize that that's there. It sort of even looks like you're not supposed to be going on that trail. It's it's not really well marked. It's just sort of off to the side. I think a lot of people walk by and think that that's where cast members go, but both of those are interesting places to explore.
Now, in a day in the life of a Mike McBride or Safari Mike, what would be the top 3 attractions that are a must see for you? Like, what you're going to Animal Kingdom. You have 2 hours in Animal Kingdom. What are the 3 things you are going to do? You have to go see.
Well, if I only got 2 hours, Flight of Passage is probably not one of them, since I'm going to be online for 3 hours. So I'm going to exclude that for a moment. If I only have 2 hours, I don't know if I would go on any attractions. I might, I would walk through one of the trails, probably the Maharaja Jungle Trek. I probably would try to get on the safari, if I could. I might, sit down and relax and have a nice drink at the Nomad Lounge. That's probably what I would do if I only had 2 hours.
And what are you drinking at the Nomad Lounge?
It could be one of it. I like a lot of their drinks. My favorite is probably the Mustang coffee, which is coffee and bourbon and melted butter and brown sugar.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's very good. It's very good. If you're a coffee drinker, it's very good. But a lot of like Hightower Rocks, which I think might be a bourbon-based drink. The good thing about Nomad Lounge is, as opposed to many of the other bars at Disney, it does not really have the standard Disney drink menu. It has its own unique menu, which is fun to try a lot of different things. And if you can try more than 3, you're probably going to have a hard time walking out of there.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You get to climb the Tree of Life afterwards.
That's right.
Mike, I was really surprised with, we ate at Satuli Canteen when we were there, and I've seen the menu for, my mind just went blank on me, Nomad Lounge and everything in there. And you've got all these people that talk about, how Epcot's the place to go to get something to eat. I really think in the long run, I think Animal Kingdom can kind of give it a run for its money with the different options.
Right.
And it's not the traditional stuff. I mean, is that kind of, you think they're going for that to kind of draw more people towards the park, or is it just kind of, it allows them to have a more diverse offering?
I think the food, especially the counter service food at Animal Kingdom, is better than any other park. I think Epcot, obviously food is always going to be a prime attraction for Epcot. It's just the way it is. And the variety at Epcot is always going to be greater than anywhere else, just based upon the fact that there are 11 different nations, each with their own, each with their own food selections. So it's always going to be a little bit more varied over at Epcot. But in terms of, other parks in particular, I mean, I think Animal Kingdom's got Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios beat by a long shot. And I think the counter service at Animal Kingdom, especially with the addition of Satuli Canteen and Harambe Market only about a year or so ago, has really upped the game on the counter service for Animal Kingdom. And I think those two are probably my favorite counter services in all of Disney. The only one at Epcot that I think I like nearly close to that, I like Morocco.
Yes,
and
one of my favorites.
That's that I would put on par with that. And I also like the one in Japan, the Katsuri Grill. I like that a lot. So, but I probably would put that a step below. I think the Harambe Market and Satuli Canteen and Tangerine Cafe are the three best counter services on Disney property. And and that's not to say that some of the other ones aren't great. The Flame Tree Barbecue, I think, has slipped over the years. It used to be one of my favorites, but it's no longer. I think the Yak and Yeti counter service has improved recently. It's pretty good. Restaurantosaurus is your typical burger fare kind of stuff. Yeah. But I mean, it does have a all you can drink station, and so you can get a soda and have it like 15 different times during the course of the day. So that's not bad. So there is that positive. So I agree with you. I think the food at Animal Kingdom is great, and Nomad Lounge is great too for food. It's what you can get there. There's a lounge menu there that has a lot of small plates that are. They keep changing them up. I've had some new things. They got rid of the spring rolls and added a vegetable, I think, pad thai, which is really good. They had a pasoli soup, which is sort of the South American beef stew kind of thing, which was delicious. The cheese plate is really good there. And any of the appetizers at Tiffin's, you can also get there, which, gives you a pretty good variety there. And the best churros in Disney World are also at Nomad Lounge.
I didn't even know they had them there.
They have them there. They're fresh. They're not like those, hard ones you get at the little counters scattered throughout the parks. They taste like cinnamon donuts, and you get two dipping sauces. One is a vanilla cream, and the other is a strawberry chili. So it's like a strawberry with a little bit of spice.
Ooh,
they
sounds
are
good.
Phenomenal. I mean, after I had those, I don't get churros anywhere else.
I guess you have that, and you throw that down with the one coffee with the bourbon. That's probably perfect.
It's great. It's great. And it's nice. If you're inside, it's nice and cool. If it's a hot day, nice and cool inside. And if it's nice outside, you can sit on that gorgeous deck and just, with the water over. It's fantastic.
Do you think it's good for families, with young kids to go sit in there, or do you think it should be more of an adult lounge?
I will tell you. So when I was with Mike, now my kids are 15 and 13, so keep that in mind. That's their ages. Mm-hmm. We went to, in the course of 8 days, we did Animal Kingdom 4 or 5 days. Now again, these are half days. Right. We'd do one park and each and every time, both of my kids wanted to go for the meal there, go to Nomad Lounge, and we ate lunch there at least 3 times during the course of 8 days. It's the best thing about it, and again, for kids my age, is that you get to sit down on a very comfortable couch. This is August. I was there in August, so you got to keep that in mind as well. It's hot. And they sat there for like 45 minutes drinking, whatever, soda or whatever, having churros and playing on their phones, which, kids, teenagers and their older parents also do all the time. It's very comfortable, very pleasant. I mean, if you have like a 2-year-old, but you're in Disney World. I mean, people. It's not like you're in a bar in New York City where people are going to look at you funny because you have a 2-year-old making a lot of noise. You're in Disney World, so it's fine. And I've been in there with younger kids who I think appreciate the couch and the air conditioning as well. So
Sean, I think the biggest thing out of all that, if you listen really close, Safari Mike just admitted that Animal Kingdom was a half-day park because he said he took 2 half days.
I did hear that. No, yes, I did.
No, I said 4 or 5 half days.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I tour it. I think most people probably do. At least most quote-unquote veterans of the Disney World tour. You guys probably do too. We do something in the morning,
right?
And then we have lunch wherever that is, and then go rest back at the hotel, and then go back someplace afterwards. It's not always the same park. I have an annual pass. I had my kids at park hopper passes when I was with them, so we tended to hop around a lot. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm definitely a park hopper. I mean, I think having the ability to park hop and spend, whether it's a half day at one park, half at another, or doing 3 parks in the same day, I think that's a way to keep Disney fresh in many ways. So that's a must do for me. I think somebody who's never been to Disney before doesn't need a park hopper, but veterans, without a doubt, I think you need it.
Absolutely. And my kids always want the park hopper. They like to go to different places. In fact, now that they're older, I'll get off topic for a second here a little bit. What I do with them is, anybody who knows me well knows that I am a planner when I'm going to Disney World anyway. So I have my fast passes booked 60 days out. I have my ADRs booked 180 days out, and I'm constantly tinkering. I will go on there and move around this and move around that and check, what's extra magic hours and switch things around. So with my kids being their ages now, I give them one block of time, whether it's a morning thing or an evening thing, or I say to my son or my daughter, today is your day, and you just tell us where we're going to go. We don't have any plans, and they just direct us to where we want to go. And my son, for example, picked Epcot, and what he wanted to do was not be around me or my daughter. So he went off on his own and walked around World Showcase and did what he wanted to do. My daughter picked the Magic Kingdom, so we went to Pirates and Haunted Mansion, et cetera, et cetera. So having that park hopper, especially with kids that age, is critical. At least I think.
I agree.
All right, Mike. So you said you'd practiced. You got time to get ready for it. So we're going to do the Tiki Lightning round for you.
Okay, go ahead.
So no ums or anything on here. I expect you to I expect you to spit the answers out just as soon as I answer the question for you. So.
All right, go ahead.
All right. First question is going to be your favorite character.
It's Doug from Up.
Nice. I don't think we've had anybody say that. That's a good one. So. Favorite snack.
It's probably the churros from Nomad Lounge.
Favorite movie.
Lady and the Tramp.
Nice, another original. Favorite attraction.
Kilimanjaro Safaris.
And your favorite theme park memory.
So I know you're going to ask this. Well, this is a tough one because I've been there many times. I was trying to think of something with my kids because as I've mentioned a couple of times now, being teenagers. When I'm home in New Jersey, if they answer the phone when I call them, I'm lucky. They sort of just do their video games and are on their phone. But when I go to Disney, they are like kids again, and it's really a great bonding time. So that is so general. So what I'm going to come up with is I've been to Disney World many, many times. This past June was the first time I ever went to Disneyland, and the first time I ever saw Disneyland. So I am going to actually say that. And I actually did it for the Tiki Trot. I went out there and did my first 5K.
That's right. Yeah.
Doing the Tiki Trot, and I got to see Disneyland for the first time, and that was something I'll never forget. That was a fantastic trip, and just being able to see Sleeping Beauty Castle and sort of ride on their version of Big Thunder and their Pirates of the Caribbean and riding Indiana Jones and the Matterhorn, and it's a weird feeling when you're in Disneyland when you're so used to Disney World. I mean, you see Pirates of the Caribbean and you know what it is, but it's not in the right spot.
Right.
And it makes it's very confusing and disorienting at some points. But it's a great park. I mean, so I'm going to say that. My first trip to Disneyland.
very cool.
I can't believe nobody said Doug. That shocks me.
Yeah, no one has. Not once.
I will say, I think it seems to be everybody goes like old school with their characters. It's either, Mickey or Goofy, or if they deviate from that, it will be, one of the older movies. You don't have a whole lot of newer characters that get mentioned for that.
No.
Okay. Well, Up is my favorite Pixar movie. I mean, Lady and the Tramp's my favorite Disney movie, period. But Up is my favorite Pixar.
Also, I don't think I've heard many Lady and the Tramps be favorite movies, so that's an original too. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that I know, and not a lot of people would put that in their top list. But that is definitely my favorite. It's always been my favorite, even when I was a little kid centuries ago. I enjoyed Lady and the Tramp. I loved it.
It surprises me. I don't know what I would think or expect your favorite movie to be, but it surprised me. It's Lady and the Tramp.
Well, it's animals, and there's a big scene in a zoo. So I just love Jock and all those characters. I think it's a great movie. I love Lady. I love Tramp. I think it's a great movie. Jim Deere and Darling and Siamese cats.
All right, Mike, so we appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge of Animal Kingdom and everything. Go ahead and take a minute and let our listeners know where they can find you, where they can find your show, all that good stuff that you want to promote and put out there for them. Sure.
You can find me at John Boy Everyone on Twitter. That's probably the easiest way. As I'm sure, I know you two guys know, I'm apparently addicted. I'm apparently addicted to Twitter. You can find me. The blog is johnboyeveryone.com. You could pick up our podcast from there, which is Radio Harambe on all the your usual podcast sites. So that's good enough. All right, so that's going to do it for this week. First, we want to thank our sponsors, Kingdom Strollers. Get your premium stroller and crib rental at kingdomstrollers.com. Want to decorate those boring magic bands? Check out the customized decals at myfantasybands.com. Make sure you use the code Enchanted Tiki Talk 20 to save 20% off your order. Let the vacation experts at mousepros.com help plan your next perfect Disney vacation. Get a clear view of the parks with Woody's polarized sunglasses. Check out all other wood frame styles at woodys.com. Don't forget to check out our store at redbubble.com/Tiki Talk Podcast. And you can connect with us on social media. Find us on Facebook at Enchanted Tiki Talk, Instagram and Twitter at Tiki Talk Podcast, or you can leave us a message on the Tiki Talk hotline, which is 256-4MY-TIKI, 256-469-8454. And if you enjoy the show, please take the time to rate us on iTunes.
And you can find me on Twitter at 1 Minute Disney Dream. That's 1MIN Disney Dream, mouseroadvacations.com. You can find both Keith and Scott at badboys.com. What you gonna do?
I'm looking that up right now. I don't believe you for a minute.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at mholly579. For a special guest, Mike. Alan, take it away, buddy.
Thanks for listening this week for Sean and Keith and Matt. I'm Alan, and this has been Enchanted Tiki Talk. Aloha.
All right, so that wasn't so bad, Mike. We did pretty good for no topic.
Not bad at all. I'm used to the no topic bit. I mean, sometimes we just sort of. I used to go on the Disney hipsters all the time, and they never had a topic.
Yeah, no, never.
So it's all right.
Complete randomness, and you finally got to do the Tiki Lightning round.
That's right. I hope I did not disappoint. I hope.
No, not at all. You get to do round 2 next time. And it's funny, before Alan passed away, it was like, Alan's like, all right, so how are we going to get Mike back on? We're going to get Mike back on and do the Tiki Lightning round. Do we just have him come on and just do the Tiki Lightning round, or do we do an episode with him?
I totally would have come on just to do the Tiki Lightning round.
That would have been funny to do that.
Yeah, I definitely would have done that. But
Enchanted Tiki Talk has been brought to you by mousepros.com. Let us plan your perfect Disney vacation. And mickeymonthly.com, where you can get the park sent directly to you. And by kingdomstrollers.com for all your premium stroller and crib rental needs. Also by Trader Sam's Coffee. Why not brew some magic in your home? And finally, Woodies.com. Sunglasses for a glare-free view of the magic. For all of us here, I'm David Benter. Thanks for listening to Enchanted Tiki Talk.